It is 31 March, end of the month, end of the quarter, and we're pulling back a little bit, rolling over, kind of like what we expected today, sideways to down. This is the green box that I'm currently patiently waiting for. And during this time, so any sort of buys are smaller, allocation is smaller. Call credit spreads are probably the easiest way to go here. And the reason why I say that is the same thing I said yesterday and today. Until we can actually break over this pivot high, and we will create other pivot highs. So this yellow line can come down. Just kind of depends on how far we move to the downside, okay? But this right here is an area of interest for me. This is where this rally started on this day. And if I take that, you can see it was 28 March, not too long ago. Some nice buying pressure here. And right now we ran out of buyers and price is trying to discover those buyers again, and they're just not showing up. All right. So again, just stay very patient. We are in the cloud. When we are in the cloud, again, it is choppy to down. So again, that pivot is up here towards 46.14. If we started to move over the cloud, you're still just right underneath supply. The whole idea here is you're under supply, those are resistance, and we move down to where we want to find buyers. Okay. And that's going to be this area right here. Now, in a perfect world, I would say the better approach is if we could actually dump into this before the close, and then we could actually set up for a nice Friday. I would expect a gap up into the night futures, and then hopefully not too much of a gap, and that would give us some range to trade into tomorrow. And this is what you would end up with, is just this channel here going into the new month of April. All right. So that's what we're looking at here. Just stay patient. I did buy a butterfly. That's the bull in me. It's 35 cents for potential per contract for like $457 if it were to pin around 4,600. Okay. That's the idea behind the butterfly. Let me show you really quick on SPX what that looks like. All right. So price is getting very close to the gap fill. I probably could have waited, maybe got filled around 20 cents or so. But sometimes price likes to move up about 88.7% before the gap fill. And in that case, if it does, this is where we could see a move to. But man, it is a slow burner down. It's just really slow. And I want to point this out to you. Inside and down. Okay. Inside and down tends to travel to inside and up. So a lot of people are looking for the gap fill, but if they don't know anything about candle formations and those things, then they're probably not, they don't have their eyes set on this. So sometimes it's a shocker, right? Sometimes it works really well. The gap fill gets filled, then we head right back up. Sometimes price just continues down and people are like, what is going on? Well, this would be the key area for us to find buyers, just like I was showing you on the ES futures. Okay. So again, the sooner we can get in here, the better. If we continue to drift sideways to down tomorrow and we get here by Friday, then I think we can have a nice up day on Monday. All right. We'll see how that works out. All right. Currently down 22 points on SPX. Let's go over these plans really quick. So Upstart came into the box this morning, gave you an opportunity from the start. All right. If you were on audio, then you were able to listen. We were looking at ES futures, looking at advancers and everything else, and I just wasn't feeling it. You know, they're expensive. Could I have made money just off of this pop? Yes, I could have. It would have been nice. Very quick trade in and out, but I decided not to do it. And here we are right now, hours later, just right there at the entry, right? So just kind of a slow burner today. And if it continues to move down, if we hit the green box on ES and SPX, I would expect this to come deeper towards 107 and potentially down to 104. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at BA. All right. So BA, same thing. I acted a little slow on this, and that's my own fault. And that's why I went out of the money on this, because I knew I was late. I didn't want to put a lot of money into it. I used the smaller account. But so far, the entry is working. If you took it this morning, it actually worked quite well up towards 196, I believe. So both trade plans worked. The problem is that the market is trending down. All right, so your up moves, and I try to make statements here in the member chat room, is if you took this trade, then don't expect a whole lot today. You're in the second day of a cycle of down. All right, and most cycles can work anywhere from on their trend from 2 to 6 days in there. All right, most are only 2 to 3 days, but I'm just giving you more of a cushion here to make you understand that on the second day, I wouldn't expect much if you're trying to buy a dip. All right. All right. So that is BA. I'm still open-minded here. We're talking about BA. Anything can happen. It's volatile, bought out of the money, bought a weekly. If I'm more serious, then I would go with the bigger account here. Okay. So there is BA. And let's go over here. Had a couple requests earlier. We're looking at Snap. All right, let's go to a higher time frame. A lot of these things are kind of getting beat up. The biggest clue not to get long is this inside candle. All right, let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Right? You got it inside and up here. Okay, this is your range right now. This is really tight. This is not something that interests me, just really sideways. Okay, and honestly, I'm not a short unless we take out this pivot low. And I really don't want to be long unless we get above this base candle. Okay, so those lines right now for SNAP, you need about 3680. To the downside, I'm not really interested unless we break the cloud and take out these pivot lows around 3480. That kind of sets you up. If you like iron condors, you could be looking at that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at plug. All right, so PLUG just kind of hanging around the 73 mark now. All right, and we're flagging a little bit. We got the inside and up. We got a buy signal here. Earlier when I first started the trade, we were inside and up, and now we're just double inside. This is my support in here. As I said on the remarks, this is a longer term position. I'm willing to add 3 times, maybe even more, just kind of depends. And so my plan is during this entire area right here, down to support, I'm willing to add. Okay. And then here underneath this inside and up would probably be my stop right in there. All right. Longer term. So again, this is just a daily that you're looking at. This is the monthly. This is what I'm more interested in. Should have probably showed you guys this off the start. Inside and up. Okay. Inside and up. All right. On a monthly, that's kind of a big deal. You can see here, inside and up. Look what happened. Not saying that's going to happen again, but inside and up, and it's been a long time. All right, so potentially if we can hold, especially today at the end of March, if we can hold above the cloud, things are looking pretty good. But you can see the support line is in line with the inside candle here. So I really like PLUG. That's my first equity trade since I closed them all before. And then we'll just kind of add into this trade as I want to. Okay, so that's plug. Let's go ahead and move down here and see if there's anything else I want to go over. CROX, Crocs. I was looking at that earlier. So this is what we're looking at, right? This is 4 months down. Nice flush low here. As long as price is, this is a stop or add. In this case, it's most likely an add for me. I'm 50 days out. Nice little pullback today of $2.27. Matter of fact, I actually have a buy to add back in pretty soon. What I'm looking for here is a move into summer, right? And we start to go bid, and I showed you guys this the other day, inside candle, and then an inside and up could start to move us up towards these white lines here between $90 and $100. All right, and we have earnings coming in on 2 May, I believe. 10 May, sorry, 10 May. All right, so that's CROX. Let's talk about allocation just really quick. I got Roku. You know, we sold for 60%, 50%, something like that. Still have some. We'll add more if I decide to, if it wants to continue to move down a little bit. As far as allocation goes right now, very small for me. Taking both counts into consideration, the small account's doing really well. The big account's really just kind of going sideways right now. And most likely the reason for that is because of my conviction here as of lately. It's just like anybody else. I'm just being transparent, I think the better way to approach any type of trading is to stick to your allocation rules. Try to stick to the same amount because really at the end of the day, trades don't know any different, right? But we tend to really pick apart our trades. It's like, well, let me give you an example. Like, let's just go for BA this morning, okay? BA. All right. Well, I'm using a small account. It's a weekly. Tomorrow's Friday. Like, as a trader, I understand like my probabilities are lower. So, hey, I'm only going to spend a couple $100. Okay. But what if BA would have went the right direction and we were closing out at 600%, 800%? Then you go back and you're like, why did I only put $200 in this? Right? Because I put $5,000 on pins and pins is down 80%, right? Those are the kind of things that we end up doing. So, what you learn over a long period of time is try to keep those allocations the same. I always tell people if you want to look at my performance, you can't really tell what my performance is, can you? You can only look at the percentages and go, hey, that looks great. But allocation, what if every winner that I had, I only put $50 into? And every loser that I had, I put $2,000 into? Be pretty crappy, right? So the best way to understand and put together like a spreadsheet and go, okay, if I took every one of these trades and I did $1,000 per trade, what would it look like? Most traders that I talked to, even over the weekend, okay, even over the weekend, I had several different conversations with a couple of our members, and I want to put this out. I was going to put it in a message, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of say it here on the mic. Is that we had a couple people who were really quiet, and I reached out to them because they usually are talking. And what I found out is kind of the same thing. It was really extraordinary. I thought they did really well, and they blew it pretty much like their month gains or their weekly gains just on one trade. Okay, they got comfortable, they got confident, and I think in those scenarios they said they took their own trade, which is really what I'm trying to inspire here, anyways. And that's okay. But the point is, I think allocation is key here. All right. Don't get too cocky, don't get too confident, and then decide that you're going to triple the size of your trade. Matter of fact, T Camp in here is really a good lesson. Like you can watch him and he's going smaller, smaller. He's refining his process. He's coming up with something. He's starting to slowly add. And that's how you should be. You're not going to become a millionaire overnight. That's not how it works. You got to get comfortable with what you're holding. And most of you think you're comfortable, and then when you lose, you're not comfortable. That's the truth. Okay? So just please, just slow it down. Slow it down. And just a few minutes ago, I was saying, hey, don't forget why you came here or why you started trading. Most of you wanted to supplement something in your life, whether it be an electric bill or a vacation to Hawaii, right? Just because you start winning doesn't mean that you're going to become the next, big trader. You just want to be consistent, right? You want to at least try to make some money at either the end of the week, the end of the month, something like that. If you come in every single day thinking you got and have to be green, a couple things are going to happen. One, you're going to get exhausted, okay? Two, you're going to sit in front of the screens all day long. Three, in many cases, you could have just held one trade and made up for all the other trades you took if you just would have followed the trend. That's typically how it works out, okay? So you have to go back, look at what you're doing, journal it, and figure out if what you're doing is making any sense. Please check your allocation. Just, are you using the same amounts on every trade? Because the market doesn't know you're there, folks. It doesn't care that you're there. Try to stick around with the same allocation and see if you get better results. Okay, every trade, is it 300? Every trade, is it 1,000? You pick, you decide what that needs to be. Okay? It's okay. I want to do a video on this. It's okay to let trades go to zero. It's 100% okay to let trades go to zero as long as you are okay with the allocation that you put in there. If you're okay, if you tell me, hey, John, I'm willing to lose $300 a trade, and you buy a $150 contract, but you take a 30% stop and then it runs up to 600 plus percent, does it make sense that you only took a $45 loss when you told me that you're willing to take a $300 loss? Doesn't make any sense, does it? So if you're willing to take a $300 loss and you take a $300 position, why are you concerned if it goes to zero? That's up to you. I'm just telling you things so that you can think about them before you decide to take a trade. That's all. All right. Let's see, John, I get caught up in that close out for 10% after 10 minutes thinking I'll get back in later for cheaper, and then it moons and I FOMO back in and I lose money. Most times I'm better off just holding them, especially when my losses are over 12% losses, when my gains are usually 10%. Yeah. And that's hard. So, I wouldn't say that I'm a micro scalper. I'd have to say between 10 and 20% would fall into that micro scalping. That's just me on options. And if you're doing that, I feel like those losses can go against you very quickly. And you keep telling yourself, hey, I'm just trying to get 10 or 20%, just try to look at a higher time frame. Maybe you're just too focused on such small time frames. Like, go to a different time frame, look at the delta of the option. Remember, that's the easiest math that I could tell you during the intraday. If it's a 30 delta, you can lose $30 for every dollar it goes down. Okay, plus minus $5. That's what I do. So go on the high side. Say every 35 or every dollar, you're going to lose $35. Times that by how many contracts you have. If it's $300 you're willing to lose, then guess what? You can take about 9 contracts and you can't let the equity go down any more than $1 during the intraday, or you can't let it go sideways all day, right? Stick to a plan. Try not to micromanage things. I always tell people this. If you take a trade and I say, hey, all right, we're getting in here. This is your stop. This is your target, like on Crocs, right? Place an alert. This is your alert down here, or your stop, or an alert. And this is your target alert up here. Everything that happens between here is your life. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, this is your life. This is where, like, you go and you hang out with your friends, or you call your mom or your dad, or you're eating popcorn, and the market doesn't even know you're here. Market doesn't know that your stop is down there. Market doesn't know that you're using this target up here. And then as it goes off, boom, you can sell your position. As it goes down, you get stopped out of your position. But market doesn't care. Okay? So just keep these things in mind instead of watching every tick. You might be surprised if you let some of those run, right? It's possible. Yeah, intraday risk for sure. So if you don't understand that, okay, then just understand this. When you hold a position overnight, you can lose everything. That's it. And if you're okay with that, then that's all good. All right. Now, most of the positions, at least, knock on wood, it's been a long time since I took a position, and the next day I'm like completely dead. It's like, oh my God. It's usually pretty a slow, painful death, all right, of a position. It's not like, boom, Usually that comes from I'll give you an example, like taking an earnings trade. Hey, I think MU is going to go up, so I'm going to buy at the money calls, and it drops $5 and you lose all your money. That's way back in the past. We don't do that anymore. So, all right. So going over those trades, I hope it makes you feel a little bit better. I think that right now, my biggest thing is, as like your mentor and sitting up here as the trader that people watch, is that you have this overwhelming feeling that, there's a lot of pressure on you, but I'm over that now. It was really bothering me up until probably the new year. I was like, man, every time like an influx of people come in, I've always said that, right? Some of you guys have heard me say this many times. When we have an influx of people come in, it's like not the time to be trading. And the reason why is because it shows a lot of the psychology behind traders, right? They join right after a big move up. And so a lot of traders, when they're not coached the correct way, they miss the entire run and they want to get in at the top and they want to get out at the bottom. This holds very true for having an education service like I have, right? We see an influx of people come in when the market's at its highs. All right. And so what I've learned, it's actually like an indicator, is to say, hey, let's just pump the brakes. And that's what I really tried to focus on today, was making everybody understand that right now is not the time to be punching the gas pedal. It's okay to take a call and lose, but just think about like how much are you willing to risk when the market's sideways to down, especially if you're going to the upside. And if you can't sell credit, so what? You could try puts too. That's up to you. Totally up to you. All right. Right now, I just don't feel like we're getting the kind of move down, unless you were in AMD this morning. We're not really getting the move down to make money. And it takes a smart trader to understand that. It takes a mature trader. It takes a trader with experience to understand. They don't know, right? Like newbies will start trading and they'll be like, oh man, I'm so bored. Oh man, we could have like taken, you know, this trade to the downside, but they don't realize that that trade, it pushed up $5 after people took puts, then it went back down. So the people that were in puts got shook out. It's the same story over and over. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to levels, allocation, and being patient with the type of trade. But if you can't read the market, and again, I really think that's my best asset that I give. If you can't read the market, you're screwed. Absolutely screwed. If you came in today and you were like, man, I think it's a buy the dip scenario, I'm just going to keep on loading up, you're going to get hurt. But if you came in this morning, you took a deep breath, you know the market's going to go sideways unless we take out a pivot high, which is what I explained, and you don't want to press on that gas, then you should be chilling right now. You should be okay. All right. Let's see here. Yeah. No, the delta gamma of your 0DT strike has been great in the future. Figuring out my intraday risk reward on micro scalps. I like that suggestion, John. Yeah, 100%, man. So, those are just like the little things that are really important to trading that a lot of people will not teach you, or they don't quite understand themselves. Sorry, I cut myself off just a few minutes ago. So my allocation right now, you already know I'm gonna say it. I know Brock makes fun of me, right? But my allocation right now is probably, let me think here if I could do the math. It's probably under 2%, guys. It's very small. Very, very small. So I'm 98% cash right now. I do my best. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on the edges, by the way. Let's go up here. Here we go. Now we have the edges on. And let me just kind of show you guys this. Let's just put Apple in here. We haven't even traded Apple. Um, and let's go to a 4-hour. Take some of these fibs off. Matter of fact, let's just turn it all off. All right. Let's just go over this really quick. And this is especially be for our guys that just came in for trials and any new members. This is where I do my best. All right. And to be quite transparent, a lot of people have a hard time buying when I'm like at my best because it's usually after they're super scared, which is very normal. People are very scared to take trades because of the fear. But I do my best here because I believe in the edges. I understand the higher probabilities of these things, and I just feel better taking trades down here. All right. Then something like this. Notice that we pull right back to this trendy edge. I feel better about taking that trade. I feel better as we come into higher time frame support. taking trades off these levels and riding this cloud. It's up here once I see topping wicks, and again, I got that video out there on YouTube. Once I start seeing topping wicks, that is a warning sign. And all you do is look, you stay patient. It comes up, it makes a lower high, and this is just letting me know right now is not the time to be buying. It is either the time to be sitting on your hands or selling credit, or there's all kinds of different things that we could be doing, or we could be looking at waiting for our edges to the downside. Okay. All right. So that's what's going on there. That's pretty much my update. Again, very low allocated here. You know, plug. Let's see, my cost basis now is 29.70. It's trading at 29.17. All right. We'll keep adding on. There's a couple things I'm thinking about buying, like SoFi, maybe. Kind of not a big fan of this name, but I feel like it's really inexpensive down here. But that doesn't mean it can't get cheaper, right? It's under the cloud. It's definitely bottom fishing. That's for sure. Don't really like stocks under like $50, man. But let's look at Costco right before I jump off here. This is a beauty. Right there. Let's see, we're looking for this target up here at 595. It is possible that we could see that tomorrow. I don't know what kind of Friday we're going to have if the market can pick up here, but it is possible. I did go short oil futures earlier. Let me just kind of show you that really quick. Also made some money, a small amount of money on ES futures to the downside. It's too sideways. CL oil futures. This is why you guys have those auto alerts, because in here, I'm not in futures long enough to like write out things and try to tell you what I'm doing. I just try to teach you the methodology. And so those are giving you buy and sell signals. Check this out. Go to a 3-minute. Okay, this is where my signals are coming from for right now. I can change them if you'd like me to, but you can see here, this was a short. And if you stayed short off this bad boy, you can make a lot of money here as long as we stayed under the cloud. Remember, just, really fast, I'm not taking any long trades underneath the cloud. I'd rather go short underneath the cloud. So you got your signals here. Check those out. Money, 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 guys. You have no idea. I'm telling you. if you're selling these, for every dollar you make $1,000. All right, for the right side. Anyways, that's all I'm gonna do. And if I need to, I'll update you guys towards the end of the day. But for right now, I think we're still just sideways to down until proven otherwise. So please be patient. We'll reassess tonight, see what kind of market we're coming into tomorrow.